Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Miftahul Jannah. I'm from class 3A, English Education Department. That I want to explain the summary of the material about the linguistic of second language equation. For the first step, we're talking about the nature of language. What is that? We learn when we learn a language. If we look up a definition of language in a dictionary, we will probably see reference to its verbal features, oral and written, to its function in communication, and to its uniquely human character. Most linguists will agree that all naturally occurring language also share the following characteristics. The next, there are the characteristics that the first language are systematic. They consist of recurrent elements which occur in regular pattern of length relationship. All languages have an infinite number of possible sentences, and the vast majority of all sentences which are used have not been memorized. And the second, language are symbolic. Sequence of sound or letter do not inherently possess meaning. The meaning, the symbol in a language comes through the tacit agreement of a group of speakers. And the third, language are social, as language reflect the social requirement of the social that use it, and there is no standard for judging whether one language is more effective for communication than other than to estimate the success its user may have in achieving the social tasks that are demanded of them. And for the next, the simplified list of the area knowledge with every L1 and 2. Okay, the first location of vocabulary, their word meaning and other. And the second one, their pronunciations, grammatically category. And the second items, the return of word. There is also syntax, grammar, sentence, and discourse. And about morphemes or the students, what is the inflection? Inflection adds one or more units of meaning to the base form of a word to give it a more specific meaning. This is how we code for plural nouns, past tense, and progressive, especially in English basic, from unit of meaning function of the unit of meaning. Example, noun case plural, 3 cats, verb, walker, pass, walker yesterday, walking. Monitor model. How about we talking monitor model? That one of last of early more to SLA, which has an internal focus, is the monitor model. Proposed by Stephen Carr's 1978, it explicitly and essentially adopts the notion of a language equation divide. With this metaphor, use the children enough knowledge of knowledge. And for the next, about universal grammar. Universal grammar, and we can say that UG, continued the traditional which Chomsky introduced in his earlier work to concept in particular have been of central importance. The first, what we need to be accounted for a language again is linguistic competence or speakers, hearers, underlying knowledge of language. This is a distinct from linguistic perform or speaker heard actual use of the language. And the second, such knowledge of language goes beyond what could be learned from the input people learned. This is the logical problem of language linguistics, the power of stimulus argument. And the next one about the functional apparatus. While UG, or we can say a universal grammar, has been to the dominant linguistic approach to ISLE for many years, many researchers have rather chosen to take an external focus on the language learning. The more influential of that approach are based on the framework of functional model of analysis that back to the early 20th century and have developed in the first school of linguistics that in Europe. They differ from squareless and early generative model by emphasizing the information context of utterance and in the consider language primarily a system of communication rather than as a set of rules. And for the last, the ability to use a language requires a complex of knowledge and skill that is automatically available to everyone. When they acquire L1 or V1 as the child, however, the comparable level is seldom achieved and true even if learned a great deal of time and on the learning task. Different stakeholders have put the basic question about SLE with either an internal or an external focus of attention. Views on what is the being acquired range from understanding knowledge of highly abstract linguistic principles and contract to ability to structure and convey information in the second language. View on how SLE takes place different in their express or continue internet UG capacity of language learning or of communication process. View on why what learners are more or less successfully ranked from the factors which are largely internal to language and mind to explanation with influence communication need and opportunity. That's all that you can see in the PPT. That how about the material. Maybe that's all for me about the summary of the linguistic of second language. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.